I'm having second thoughts about these tuners. They are very heavy. And so on something like a Les Paul or a big heavy solid body guitar, probably no problem. But as you can see, it's almost 37.5 grams each, so you're up at 235 grams ish for the whole lot when you put screws and shims and bushes and things and whatever. So yeah, I don't have to make up my mind exactly yet, because it's taken quite a while to get the neck finish done. But I just have a feeling that these are going to be too heavy. I'm going to have to get something more like the originals, because everything on an SG is so light. So I'm nervous that these guys would just cause the neck to drop down when you put the shoulder strap on. The guitar wouldn't be balanced. Okay, many hours of sanding and filling later, I think we have a surface that's ready for primer. So I've masked off the parts I don't want to paint, obviously. Then we put a coat of primer and a coat of black on here and see what it looks like. The peg head I will do completely separately on its own when the rest of the neck is done, and I'm happy with it, because that'll require special attention, since any imperfections in that show up like a sore thumb. As you can see, our beautiful summer continues. We got 3 days of sun earlier on. Now we're back to this again. Okay, a bit of an update on doing this neck. I've been at this for probably the best part of a week now, on and off. Most of the neck went okay. However, the back of the peg head here has just proven to be a bit of a nightmare. Which I presume is because over the years, with all the different tuning pegs and everything else, there's all sorts of various oils have maybe seeped into the wood. There's also the problem that different holes had been plugged with different types of wood, which tended to expand and whatever differently when I sprayed them. So the bottom line is I have lost count of the number of times that this has been sealed, flattened, sprayed, flattened, sealed, sprayed. Because every time I shot the black on it, some little imperfections would show up somewhere. And I thought, I can't leave those there, because when you put the clear coat on, it's just going to look terrible. So finally, I've got it to the point where there's no shiny spots now sticking up, and I've sanded it off. So in theory, I've sanded it off too smoothly. Like typically I'd sand off to no more than 400 grit. This is probably down closer to 600 grit, which means the clear may not adhere that well. But anyway, we'll see. So I just have to rub down the rest of it with sandpaper, get rid of any imperfections. And I think we're ready for a clear coat. No, sorry, we're not. Because before I do the clear coating, I have to do the front of the peg head separately. And if that turns out to be anything like the grief that I got at the back here, it's going to be another couple of weeks before you see another update clip from me. Anyway, here's hoping it's not going to be that bad. This is just to see if I can show you the sort of problems I'm having with this peg head here. So I don't know if you can see where a sort of a rough something has reacted and is bubbling up through. And bearing in mind there are at least 2 coats of super glue on here and about 3 coats of lacquer. And so every time something deep inside the wood it seems to react, and then on this side of the peg head it's not all over the place, it's just sort of up in this corner here, but you can see it quite badly along here as well. So I'm just going to keep sanding it down, sealing it up, sanding it down until it stops coming through. Fun and games, eh? Okay, some progress I think. This now looks to be pretty smooth. There's nothing coming through here. After I shot that last clip and I said I'd just keep at it until it stopped, I thought that's kind of the definition of madness, really, doing the same thing over and expecting a different result. So I had to browse around for other products I might have that might help. And in the end I found a water-based sanding sealer that seemed to do the trick, and whatever is underneath here doesn't react with it. And so a couple of coats of that, sand it down, and it looks like we're ready for some primer top coat. It's a little unfortunate that on the top surface here I can't mask off the binding, because if I did I wouldn't be able to sand off the paint. So I'll have to paint the whole thing black and then hope I can scrape off around the edge and get back to the binding before final clear. So, one step forward,